Welcome back to On Air B&B Football with Brandon and Bryce and Brandon. Thank you for coming back, watching us on YouTube, listening to us on Spotify, whatever you're doing, we appreciate it. So today we're going to be coming at you with a little bit of a different approach to the video, and this video is actually going to be what's the biggest threat to the Chiefs in stopping them from getting that three-peat. So it's just kind of like a discussion format, not really laid out.
So this isn't a Chiefs video. This is how you stop them.
Right.
From a Chiefs fan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my opinion, Bryce's opinion, we'll get into it. But before we do, make sure you go ahead and click that like button, hit the subscribe button, do us that favor, and Bryce, let's go.
Let's do it. So, what we could do is start off with some teams, I guess, we could talk about in the AFC. So we'll start over there to teams that can stop your boys. So,
like my opinion?
Yeah, my opinion, your opinion. Let's
jump into it. Asking you.
Well, yeah. I'm gonna lay a team out there, and you tell me how you feel. I knew you're gonna say, as a Chiefs fan, that you guys can beat anybody, and you're honestly probably right. But it's who's the biggest threat. So, would you say? I would say probably. I don't know about you, but I would say the Texans are looking like, on paper, especially, the biggest threat to the Chiefs.
I would agree with you in the sense of on paper.
Yeah, yes. That's what I'm saying.
But the reason I don't legitimately think in the sense of I don't think that the Texans will beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, right?
Okay.
So if the Chiefs and Texans face, I would definitely take the Chiefs.
Yeah, it would definitely history like that's repeated before, like a young, high flying team. Like the Chiefs when they played the Patriots in that AFC Championship game was beaten by a more experienced Patriot team with Tom Brady. Like that's how that kind of would usually always plays out. It's just, the Texans are the better rostered team. They don't have the best a better quarterback. But
they're a better coach or a better quarterback. And they don't have a Travis Kelce. Now they got great players, but they don't have a Kelce. The Kelce to Mahomes. I think it's obviously I chose the Texans as my Super Bowl pick, but let me clear that up real quick. I think if any NFL fan is honestly talking, the Chiefs are the favorite for the Super Bowl. They are the team to beat.
oh no, they are
absolutely. So if you're asking me in general, are the Chiefs going to win the Super Bowl? As a Chiefs fan, of course, I'm going to say yes because they're an amazing team. They got Patty Mahomes, they got Kelce, and they got Reed.
No. So as long as the past
those
5 years are going to be there,
even honestly, as long as Patrick Mahomes is a Chief, I'm going to say that. But on the other hand of things, no team has ever done a three-peat.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going off history and the record books, everything like that, then I'm going to sensible pick in a way and choose a top contender that's not the Chiefs because it's so hard to do. So Texans are my Super Bowl pick, but I do think that, if the Chiefs were to face them in the playoffs, the Chiefs take that 10 out of 10 times, in my opinion. Just the way that Reed schemes up the plays and everything, I don't think the Texans can beat that in year two. But in the future, it's a possibility. I just think this year that's not the case. I think if the Texans get to the Super Bowl, Texans win the Super Bowl, it's because somebody else took out the Chiefs for them.
Okay.
And honestly, if you're asking me the biggest threat, I still think it's Josh Allen. I know the Bills have changed a lot. They got rid of Diggs. They got rid of a lot of defensive pieces. But you look at their defense over the past couple of years, and it's been pretty much the same thing. It's a defense that at least looks good on paper, but they always underperform. Somebody gets injured, whatever it is.
Well, they lost a lot of pieces on that defense, though, this year. They lost a lot in the secondary. So that's going to be very concerning. And then the offense, he doesn't have his number one option in Diggs. He's got a young receiving core. He's got a young tight end, young running back. Like it's got to be the Josh Allen show for him to beat Mahomes. Which, I would say that Josh Allen has proven he could beat Mahomes. He's proven that he can beat him. It's not. He can't play defense. He can't cover the freaking seam for 4 yards.
He can play the hero ball to beat him.
It's just a matter of him doing it. It just came out.
It's a matter of
Mahomes'
team keeping.
Yeah, it's came out in Mahomes' favor every time in the playoffs. But Josh Allen is the most capable. That was going to be my next question. Was, do you fear more of the Ravens or the Bills?
I definitely fear the Bills because, all time Mahomes versus Lamar.
Mm,
We are, I think it's 4-1 now
yeah,
when you're doing regular season and playoffs.
and you
And
lost on the game I needed you to win,
yeah, that I
and
went to
yeah,
the
that
only one
was
that I went to.
awful.
But
Thank you so much, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
don't
Thank you
get
so
me wrong,
much.
the Ravens are a scary team. They got a new dynamic with Derrick Henry. If you talk about the RPO options that they have this year, they got, if you run it with Derrick Henry, you want to stop him in the back
Yeah, that
before
is
he gets
scary this
going.
year.
But if you don't hand it to Derrick Henry and Lamar takes it, then that's just lightning speed. So you got to kind of pick your poison with the
Mm-hmm.
Ravens this year. That'll be an interesting dynamic. I don't think they're going to be able to overcome the juggernaut. Again, it's one of those teams that they can win the Super Bowl. They absolutely can. It's just they can't beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, I don't
Yeah,
think. And if you're asking me, there's two teams that can beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, and one of them you've basically seen win with 13 seconds to go, the Bills,
yeah.
and then you've seen the Bengals actually do it, which for some reason, um, in the second half of that game, that was just Mahomes' kryptonite was Joe Burrow
Mm-hmm.
and the Bengals. So, or I guess you should say
Yeah,
Bengals.
it just was Mahomes
But
not looking like Mahomes in that game.
that was the only game I've ever seen
Yeah,
him
it
not
was
look like
weird.
Mahomes. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, just to generalize it, it's the Bills and the Bengals. I hate to admit that, but I mean, if we're being honest,
Yeah, is there any like newer teams in? Would you put the Texans like third there then? As like a would you wouldn't add them with the Bills and the Bengals, or would you add them more going into the season, watching them play more, maybe seeing how they gel?
I think
Would you maybe mid season put them in that category? Or
yeah,
you would get better?
I'm always
Yeah,
open to adjusting what I think. You can't just stick with one thing the whole time unless you're going like a bet,
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, if the Texans look crazy good in the season, they kind of look. I did mention last year when we were watching Stroud in his rookie season that at points I did feel like Stroud had little glimpses, little flashes of Mahomes in his rookie year, where he's just chucking the ball deep and the players
hmm
are catching it, and that's what we're gonna have to see Stroud adapt to this year is teams got the film on. They know he likes to throw deep now, and that's a real thing. So when they know that now, is Stroud still going to be able to perform the same way? And if he
yeah,
does, that's probably when I start to worry.
hmm
That's when if they do look like that throughout the year, that's when I think that maybe the only way that they could beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, if they do face head to head, would be if Stroud takes those deep shots and they just work.
yeah.
You know, you got to take risks to
hmm
beat Mahomes. I feel like.
No, you definitely do. Like, I feel like the only way to beat the Chiefs is to outscore them. But I mean, in the Super Bowl, that wasn't the case at all. In the Super Bowl, it was basically a defensive game mostly. So I mean, the Chiefs can win both types of games now, which that's even more scary. So like to see that, because I mean, Mahomes, he'll play in a shootout if he needs to, and then the defense will hold up on the other side if they need to, which that's even more scary to see now, especially like I mean, Mahomes isn't a 40-year-old quarterback back there. Just needs his defense to carry him. He's
Right. Right.
the best quarterback in the game. So that's one thing that's very scary now too. And I mean, you guys brought most of that defense back besides Snead, basically.
The whole defense, pretty
So
much, yeah. Other than Willie Gay.
yeah. So like just seeing that also, that's very like concerning, and not a lot of teams are gonna be able to match that. Like I don't think
So, for you, is there any teams that you could see emerging that
not
could dethrone the Chiefs?
not to that level. I don't think.
What's a team on your radar that's close to it?
That I mean, it would be the Texans, but I mean, like you said, I probably have them about the same as you are. Like I need to see stuff from them before I would put them with. I think the Bills. I mean, of course, you add the Bengals. I just don't think the Bengals are going to be as good as they were during that Super Bowl run. And I mean, they'll still compete with the Chiefs just because it is basically a rivalry now.
Right.
But I mean, the Bills with Josh Allen definitely have to be the front runner, even with all the losses they took.
If the Bills are able to make it to that point with those weapons, then yeah,
Yeah,
really
100%.
scary.
Yeah, it's but Josh Allen. I mean, this could be a Josh Allen MVP season.
Right.
It could be,
Very
but
well.
that's another discussion. But yeah, I don't know of any other teams. I mean, of course, I'd like Pittsburgh too, but that's who knows what's going to happen there.
Unrealistic.
Unrealistic. But I mean, I don't really know any AFC
Now,
teams that
okay,
would.
what about a team like the Dolphins. Okay, I mean, you
Yeah,
saw them get
no.
blown out in KC in the playoffs. The cold weather, but
Tua just got
let's
paid.
let's flip this. And what if Miami gets the 1 seed?
Okay.
They get
Get
the
to play at
first
home.
round bye. They're at home,
Okay.
so they just got to play one game to make it to the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl's in a dome.
Yeah.
So if that happens, is that a team that you see? Like, I mean, they're a team that can do a shootout, right? Like now, me personally, I don't feel like they're on the same coaching level, and I
No,
think
they're not.
Reed's just gonna outsmart them. But they do have Tyreek, they do have Jalen Waddle, they have Achan, they have Mostert, they got the speed, man. I mean, it's one of those things that if they shoot off a couple of electric plays, then that's definitely a way that we would lose the game.
No, yeah, like so. I was gonna say no, absolutely no at first, but now I'm kind of thinking if everything would go right for the Dolphins, and Tua would play up to his contract that he's making now.
Yeah.
I mean, they could win. They could definitely win. I mean, you could say they have a more. I mean, they definitely have a more definitely have a more complete team, a more dynamic offense. It's just is Tua gonna be able to outplay Mahomes basically in that type of game? And I mean, he's gonna need Tyreek and Waddle to take some of those short balls and take them all the way. Like that's what he's gonna need.
For sure.
He
There's got to be some luck involved.
Yeah, oh, 100%. There's got. I mean, he's just gonna need them to make. He's gonna need his playmakers to make plays in the biggest game, which they can. They're totally capable of doing that. It's just everything's got to go right for the Dolphins, I think, to make them a threat.
And we've been talking this whole time about AFC teams because yeah, all the powerhouses are pretty much in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were to ask me what I felt about if the Chiefs had another repeat Super Bowl with the 49ers.
I would hate that. As
You know,
a football fan.
I have the 40. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like that necessarily either because especially in that situation, it's like, man, we beat them twice in the Super Bowl.
I mean, honestly, it's very you hate to say it, but it's very likely that it could happen again. But
I don't think so.
I hope not. It's very hard to make it back to the Super Bowl. I mean, let alone 3 that the Chiefs could possibly make it to. But like I really don't hope that happens. But the 49ers are a threat. Like they're still a big threat to the Chiefs if they would make it there.
Right.
I mean, third time's a charm.
And honestly, another team I would be a little bit scared of just because they're not that quite like super team that the Niners are, that the Bills were last year with all their weapons and Josh Allen, but it's the Green Bay Packers.
Okay, Packers. I thought you were gonna say another team. But
We've played them
Packers.
in season, and it's like Mahomes has faced Love, and that was when Love wasn't Love. But I think the Chiefs have a tendency to play down to their opponents, and I mean, in the playoffs, yeah, it's usually a different story. But, I mean, even the greatest quarterbacks have their bad games.
Yeah.
So it's, Mahomes has, a not so great game in the playoffs. And then Jordan Love is looking like Aaron Rodgers. And I think very well the Packers are a scary team as well. Just because the whole playing down to the opponents, whatever's wrong with the Chiefs at some times. But, I mean, obviously the Chiefs are a better team.
Yeah.
It's just, it could happen. If we're looking at every little aspect, every angle, then, Packers, Niners out of the AFC, Bills.
There was another AFC team I just thought about that I forgot about.
Don't say the Jets.
I'm gonna say the Jets. Where they gotta be? What do they gotta do? Where they gotta be?
There's nothing you can do to convince me that the Jets are
their roster is so good. Their roster's so good. I mean, it's good.
Look, we just went to New York for that.
We did.
We talked to a couple of Jets fans.
Yeah.
And what did all of them say? They said the Jets are cursed. It doesn't matter how good we look on paper. We always fall apart. That's words of Jets fans who have been lifelong fans.
Let them have a little.
And then you put on top of it Aaron Rodgers, who great quarterback, a Hall of Famer, obviously. But what does he do in the playoffs? I know it was the NFL. Every year make it to the championship.
But that was in the NFC. This is the AFC.
And it's even harder
That's
now.
harder, but
And he's older, and he's coming off an Achilles. There's
but
there's no way.
he can just feed your boy Brees Hall, and that defense is going to take care of him.
No, it's not happening.
That defense though could take him.
What have you not
Look at the Chiefs defense last year.
Look, what have you not learned? It doesn't matter how good any defense is in the playoffs if they're facing Mahomes.
Okay,
That's the truth.
Okay, I mean, you're not wrong, but I mean
that's not biased.
I don't know. I know the defense looks good though. It was good last year with Zach Wilson.
I'm not worried about any defense. I'm worried about if the offense is capable of it. Which, yeah,
it is.
You look at the Jets' offense; they got Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, and then they have Brees Hall. So they got
Mike Williams on the other side.
Mike Williams will be hurt by week 4.
Okay, but he'll be there maybe in the playoffs.
Look, no,
Jets
are out.
Okay,
the Jets have the same possibility of beating the Chiefs.
No, I'm not going to put them.
Patriots do.
I'm not going to put them out. They're not out because they almost beat the Chiefs with Zach Wilson at quarterback last year.
That was regular season,
and it was a very fadoogled game by the refs. Apparently, by a lot of people.
Apparently, every Chiefs game is.
But anyway, so that was my little AFC team. They're not there, but they're not too far down the list from some of the other people. They're not as far as you think they are. They can beat the Chiefs. They can.
Okay, here's a team I would put them on the same level as. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
They are above the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No, they're not.
They are 100% above it.
Listen.
Look at the Jacksonville play them well. They played the Chiefs good.
Exactly. We played them in a playoff game, and it was a somewhat close game. I think it was 7 to 10 points, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was it 27-20?
I don't remember.
I think it was somewhere around that.
Look, and that's with Trevor Lawrence looking average, or basically barely above average. He was drafted to be, the prince who was promised.
Yeah, one of the greatest.
One of the greatest quarterbacks, the best of the generation, probably. So it's, when you see that, it's if Trevor Lawrence performs like he was supposed to when he first came out, then absolutely, that's a team that scares me. If Lawrence looks like he was supposed to year 1, year 2, then that's it. I mean, they have a possibility of taking the 1 seed. They have a possibility of knocking off the Chiefs, and they have a possibility of winning the Super Bowl. I mean, it's not too far off. Plus, they just got Brian Thomas. ETN's cooking.
Yeah.
And Evan Ingram was cooking last year, so it's all it takes is Lawrence to kick.
Yeah. Lawrence does need to take a little bit more of a step, I feel like, for them to be on that level. But like you said, they were 7 points away from, winning that game.
Exactly.
Well, I guess 7, 8 points, whatever. But I mean,
that's the thing, though.
It's
always
close.
Feels like a close game with whoever.
Yeah,
plays the
but
Chiefs,
that's the way it was last year with them because
the
defense was just kind of keeping everybody at bay. So I just think, Jags are an interesting team. I wouldn't say they're. I would put the Jets a little bit above them right now.
And you could argue another team on the same level as the Browns. If Watson. It's the Browns. That's it.
If Texans,
there's a tier right there. The Browns, the Jets, and the Jaguars. They all have a quarterback.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Back up to their previous level of play, then yes, their team has a possibility.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you.
But what's the likelihood of Rodgers at 40 years old with a blown Achilles off last year, and 2 weapons on his team? The defense doesn't bother me at all.
Super Bowl.
That's all it takes. Is that's the tier right there.
Okay, yeah, that's a good spot.
And then NFC,
we said the Niners. Who else? The Lions. The Lions are one team I was gonna say. The Lions beat you guys week 1. It was week 1.
Kadarius.
Okay, but
that's what it was.
You saw what the Lions even became over the year.
And Travis Kelce got hurt.
Okay, so
and they won by 1 point.
The first game of the season. It's fine.
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And then you put it on a playoff caliber game.
But I feel like the Lions are a better team than they were last year. They got that secondary.
Yeah, their
secondary
got better.
The secondary they're building is probably one of the best in the league.
Into his own.
Gibbs is in year 2. Montgomery's still back there chucking away.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra's becoming one of the best receivers in the league.
Williams looks great.
Jameson Williams is one of the guys that take a top off the defense. Dome Golf. Talk about Dome Golf.
Dome Golf, baby.
Go look at our Dome Golf stuff.
That's a Super Bowl I would love to see. The Chiefs and the Lions. That would be a great Super Bowl. Or even the Chiefs Packers throwing it back to Super Bowl 1.
Yeah.
That would be great. And we got to get our revenge there. For the repeat. That would be a perfect story, wouldn't it, guys?
No
I
one.
know everybody would love to see that.
No one
Chiefs
would.
Repeat.
Not a single person would. Besides your dad watching this video.
Chiefs fans. Shout out that.
But I don't think there's really. I mean, the NFC is a little less stacked. I mean, would you say the Eagles have a chance again?
No.
No, your Eagles are out. I think if everything can go right for the Eagles, they can. I don't.
I think if the Eagles just feel like one of those teams, even if everything goes right,
If
it's not going to work.
if what is it? Jameis Hurts. Jesus.
Hurts. We're going to keep that in.
If Jalen Hurts from 2 years ago comes back, that's a Super Bowl team with Saquon back there, and it's a healthy Saquon, and that could be a very dangerous. That could be as dangerous as. I mean, what do you? Okay, that's a different.
I'll just put a wager on it with you right now that the Eagles won't even make it back to the Super Bowl.
Whenever in their lifetime.
Well, no, I mean this year.
You mean
They won't make it back to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's a 100% free money bet right there
okay? Yeah,
for me.
watch them make it now.
No, they won't. I said it last year and I said it again. Niners aren't either,
The
but
Cardinals making it. The Cardinals are the Chiefs.
I would love that. I would struggle. Look, as
What
a
about
Chiefs
What
fan,
about the Rams? What about the Rams?
hold on,
they're
let me finish my
Okay,
thought.
what with the Cardinals?
Keep that at bay though.
I will.
As a Chiefs fan, I would still root for the Chiefs way heavily, yes.
But you would be so happy if the Cardinals.
If the Cardinals, man, I love Kyler. I love, Marvin Harrison. That would just be great. And Trey McBride, not to mention, but
Mhm.
yeah, that would be great. But the Rams, I think it would be another Super Bowl like you saw with the Rams and Bengals. And the
Mhm.
Rams barely winning, and that was versus
The Rams
Bengals.
barely beating the Chiefs.
Rams wouldn't barely beat the Chiefs.
Because
Look,
as you said, the Rams would be like the Rams.
it would be like that Super Bowl.
Yeah,
in
so the
sense
Rams
of
win.
It would be a close game.
Aaron Donald comes back for the Super Bowl, chases around Mahomes.
But no, I mean, no. The days of the Rams beating the Chiefs are left in the history books with the highest scoring game.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
I mean, Stafford, one last go at it. I think he throws too many picks at this point in his career to really beat Mahomes, especially with the defense that we got now.
Okay.
And they don't have a defense.
They don't have a defense at all. But I'm saying, I mean, I gotta see this. I am huge on the Rams this year just because of the offense. Hopefully, staying healthy. It's just I gotta see them in action first too before I like. I mean, they're my NFC Championship prediction.
Yeah.
But I don't see them making it to the Super Bowl.
Right. All right. Well, just to recap real quick, I think in order to knock the Chiefs off, keep them from getting that repeat, the number one thing that it's going to take from any team to beat them is risk. You have
100%, yeah.
You have to take those big risks, throw the ball deep down the
So
field.
that's gotta be. I mean, that's the Lions formula right there.
Right.
But the thing is, it's got to go right for them, like it didn't in that.
And everything
NFC
has to go right with it. Yes.
Yeah. Like in that NFC Championship game, it didn't go right in that second half. So like if you do that against the Chiefs, though, it's gonna be
you're
gonna pay for it.
Fourth downs, the 2-point conversions. They got to do all that stuff, and then they have to run the ball perfectly. They have to pick the short throws when needed, and then they have to throw the ball like Rodgers in his prime, just chuck it. Or I guess I should say Favre, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, risk and probably luck.
Which I mean, that could be too a weakness I'm not gonna say a weakness, but it kind of is maybe in that secondary without Snead. I mean, it's secondary is still decent, but look at a team like the Rams where you have two number one receivers. So you have Kupp or Puka taking McDuffie off. I mean, who's your guy's second corner now?
I mean, we got Jalen Watson. I think he's the only active Chiefs player to record an interception in the postseason right now.
Okay.
But
I mean, both of those receivers, you got to double those receivers.
We also have Chamari Connor coming up. We got a couple other guys who, I mean, I know they're not big names right now, but as a Chiefs fan, they're guys that have been on our watch list for a while. Mm-hmm. And honestly, when Spagnuolo likes a player coming up, they usually turn out pretty good.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have full faith that we will absolutely let up those huge deep plays for no reason and got me screaming at the TV.
Mhm.
But when it comes down to it, it's bend don't break.
Yeah.
And I guess you get a field goal out of it or whatever it is, and then Mahomes will keep it close and win the game. So Chiefs three-peat on the way. What everybody wanted to hear.
We hope not.
It's just the sum up of my sum of this video. But
I'm sorry.
what do you have any last recap points that I didn't touch on where you kind of need the risk and the luck? Is there anything else you think?
No, I don't think so. It's like I said earlier, it's very concerning to see how well how they won that Super Bowl last year. It wasn't Mahomes really being the hero in that Super Bowl. I mean, he had his plays, of course, but it was that defense.
Mahomes had his best Super Bowl. Let's just make that
Whatever.
clear.
But I'm just saying that defense is the reason why you guys were there. So
Yes.
So that's the point. It was always, the Chiefs didn't have a defense. It was a shootout. Now it's the Chiefs have a defense or they can beat you in a shootout, basically.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see what happens because, I mean, you could say they got better at receiver also. I'm not the biggest Sky Moore fan,
last year,
but
so.
yeah, they got better. Got Hollywood Brown there at receiver now to help Mahomes out, so that's annoying. And now you got that defense also, which is scary. Teams can beat them. It's just they have to, one, have a little bit of luck on their sides and not lose in 13 seconds. And then, just gotta have a little bit of luck. And I mean,
I think we should both end this video with one team that we think has the absolute strongest possibility. And, if they face head to head, and I'm not talking like the Ravens could face somebody else and then somebody else knocks the Chiefs off and then they win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about head to head. Who has to face the Chiefs in the playoffs or the Super Bowl that would knock them off? Give me your pick.
Mine's the Lions.
The Lions?
Mine's
Okay.
definitely Lions.
So
I'm not just saying it. Yeah, I'm not just. It would have to be Super Bowl. I'm not just saying because of that Week 1 win last year like that. That's way out there. I'm saying that secondary is a lot better. They drafted for the secondary. They got who they get?
Murphy
Bunting, and then they got someone else.
And they drafted. They got Terrion Arnold.
There we go.
And then they have Murphy Bunting.
And
they got Deion Branch coming into your team.
Okay. Yeah. That too. So yeah, that secondary is really good. That D line's good. Hutchinson's getting better every single year.
Deep boy.
I mean, it's that could be Mahomes. I mean, the Bucs showed how you got to do it. You got to pressure Mahomes in the Super Bowl. That's got to be what they got to do.
That was not
whatever. Okay, but you lost.
We had no line.
Exactly. So pressure him. That's what you got.
And they were all of our line.
And you're all your line.
That's what you have to do.
That's what you have to do.
Stamp it.
But and then if you have that offense that takes risk like the Lions do, that's your chance to. You got to keep Mahomes off the field too. Like that's what you got to do. And that Lions offense can do that.
Yeah,
and because they can run the ball, they can run the ball two different ways. They can run the ball with Gibbs,
hard nosed or
yep. That's
elusive.
big too. So
yeah,
that's one way. That's a team that is very complete in literally every single way of football. So
I don't hate that pick, but I'm gonna stick to my guns and say the Buffalo Bills.
Regardless,
I just think Allen's gonna have a huge year. I think you still have Kincaid there. He developed really well last year, and I think that connection is gonna be insane. I know we talked about CJ Stroud being our MVP pick this year, but I'm really coming on to more of Josh Allen. Everybody's fighting on the CJ Stroud. I think Allen has that MVP year, and I think that has the best opportunity.
Yeah, it's kind of looking like that too because now that's what he has to do.
Yeah, I mean, this is his time right now. This is his time to show that he can do it without a number one.
Yeah.
So, all right, that'll wrap it up for us today. Thank you guys for watching, YouTube, listening, Spotify. We appreciate all the love and support. Before we head out of here, please help us reach our goal where we want to talk to you, the fans, the players, and the coaches. Do a little interview, bring you all some better content, and have fun while doing it. And then, same thing goes for the BDG internship. We would love to get on that, be a part of it, whatever it is. And then if, you're another content creator, leave in the comments. If you're watching, leave in the comments who you'd like to see us pair up with, do a little collab, whatever. If it's a smaller channel, a bigger channel, Let us know. Let us know what you thought of this video in the comments as well. Last of all, please like, subscribe, and share with everybody you know whether they like football or not, because they will like this video
Yes, they will.
because we told them to. So,
Yeah.
peace.